Hello everyone, welcome to History and Culture. The moment the archaeologists had read just a few lines, they couldn't contain their excitement. It turned out to be the epitaph of Li Jiancheng, the very first crown prince of the Tang dynasty. History books often claim that Li Jiancheng was not a competent heir. He was said to be obsessed with drinking and pleasure, indulging in constant hunting trips and a life of excess. As the eldest brother, he lacked magnanimity and, instead of showing tolerance, he often conspired with his other brother, Li Yuanji. Driven by jealousy of their younger brother Li Shimin's talent, plotting repeatedly to eliminate this more capable sibling. Initially, Li Shimin held back out of brotherly affection and concern for the stability of the state. He chose to retreat time and again. But Li Jiancheng's camp pressed harder and harder, eventually pushing Li Shimin to the brink. Left with no other choice, Li Shimin laid an ambush at Xuanwu gate to strike first. The result, both Li Jiancheng and Li Yuanji were killed. But as the old saying goes, history is written by the victors. Later, Li Shimin ascended the throne, becoming the renowned Emperor Taizong of Tang. He ushered in the celebrated reign of Zhengguan, and has since been praised as a wise ruler for the ages. Yet, his life remained overshadowed by the incident at Xuanwu Gate. He not only killed his brothers, but also forced his father, Emperor Gaozu, to abdicate. Faced with such a brutal and complex past, what did Li Shimin truly feel in his heart? Did he ever regret it or feel remorse? Now, with the sudden unearthing of a tombstone bearing the name Li Jiancheng, could it possibly reveal secrets never mentioned before? Might it restore the hidden truths behind that deadly struggle for imperial power? On the third day of the 6th lunar month, Emperor Gaozu of Tang, Li Yuan, angrily threw a memorial report in front of Li Shimin. See for yourself. It says a strange Venus anomaly has appeared in the northwestern sky. It's said to be a sign that you intend to rebel. What do you have to say about this? Li Shimin, a seasoned warrior with countless battles behind him, was a man of decisive action who would never sit idly in the face of danger. He straightened his back and knelt firmly, replying without hesitation. Father, may your judgment be clear, your son has never had treacherous intentions. These rumors are deliberately spread by my elder brother Li Jiancheng and my fourth brother Li Yuanji. They are the ones harboring ulterior motives. Instead of suspecting me, father, why not ask them why they've been frequently visiting the inner palace lately? And why they've become so close with consorts Zhang and Yin? These words enraged Li Yuan even more. He couldn't tolerate the idea of his son being accused of treason. Nor could he accept the violation of strict court protocol. He felt deeply humiliated, unable to discern right from wrong in that moment. He repressed his anger and said, "Tomorrow morning, the three of you brothers will appear before me and explain everything clearly." Just then, a messenger arrived from the palace. Li Yuanji immediately rushed to the eastern palace to discuss with Li Jiancheng. Uneasy and suspicious that Li Shimin might be plotting something, he urgently warned, "Elder brother, quickly submit a report claiming you're unwell, don't go to the palace tomorrow." But Li Jiancheng remained nonchalant. "How could I not go? Wouldn't that be playing right into second brother's hands? Don't worry. We have people both inside and outside the palace. He won't be able to stir up much trouble." At the break of dawn, Li Jiancheng and Li Yuanji mounted their horses and hurried toward Xuanwu Gate. As they approached, Li Yuanji immediately sensed something was off. The usually bustling Xuanwu Gate was eerily quiet. The guards, though familiar faces, looked tense and uneasy, with strange glints in their eyes, as if they were bracing for some sudden upheaval. His heart sank. As he approached the gate, Li Yuanji suddenly noticed a shadow darting out from the darkness. Instinctively, he drew his bow and shot 3 arrows in rapid succession, but the figure dodged them with ease. Sensing the danger, Li Jiancheng quickly turned his horse and tried to escape. At that moment, Li Shimin emerged, drew his bow, and fired an arrow at Li Jiancheng. Struck by the arrow, Li Jiancheng fell from his horse and could not continue fleeing. Seeing this, Li Yuanji dashed into a nearby grove, and Li Shimin immediately gave chase. Unexpectedly, his horse lost control and threw him off violently. Sensing an opportunity, Li Yuanji swiftly turned back, grabbed Li Shimin's longbow, and used the bowstring to strangle his neck. At the critical moment, Yuqi Jingda arrived and killed Li Yuanji with a single sword strike. Upon learning that a clash had broken out at the Xuanwu gate, thousands of soldiers from the Crown Prince's eastern palace and the Prince of Qi's residence grew tense and prepared for battle. In contrast, Li Shimin had only 800 elite guards from the Right Guard House, Taiyan's mansion. If a full-scale conflict broke out, it would be difficult for his side to withstand the numerical advantage of the others. In a moment of urgency, Li Shimin devised a plan. He had the corpses of Li Jiancheng and Li Yuanji sent to the Eastern Palace and the Prince of Qi's residence to signal that the power shift was already complete. Realizing the situation was irreversible, the opposing forces scattered, surrendered, and laid down their weapons. At that time, Emperor Gaozu Li Yuan was boating on a lake. Yuqi Jingda rushed to him with the bodies of the two princes. Calmly, Li Shimin said, "Father, the crown prince and fourth brother plotted treason. I had no choice but to act in order to preserve the stability of the state." Li Yuan stood frozen, as if waking from a dreadful, absurd dream. But the damp hem of his robe and the heavy atmosphere around him made it clear, everything had truly happened. In the royal family, affection was often overshadowed by power. At that moment, he could no longer control the political situation. He glanced at the weapon in Yuqi Jingda's hand, paused in silence, and finally sighed, "You were right. 3 days from now is an auspicious date, then I shall appoint you crown prince. From now on, you will take full charge of all military and governmental affairs." Li Shimin withdrew in joy. On the 9th day of the 8th lunar month, the elderly Li Yuan formally abdicated. Li Shimin ascended the throne, becoming the revered Emperor Taizong of the Tang dynasty. According to historical records, Li Jiancheng was only 37 years old at the time of his death. His eldest son, Prince Chengzong of Taiyuan, had died young. His other sons, the princes of Anlu, Hedong, Wuan, Runan, and Jiulu, were implicated by the coup and punished by the court. Li Yuanji died at the age of just 23. His 5 sons, the princes of Liangjun, Yuyang, Puan, Jiangxia, and Yiyang, all met tragic ends on the same day. The youngest was not even 3 years old. The complete extinction of Li Jiancheng and Li Yuanji's descendants on that single day left many deeply moved and sorrowful. Surprisingly, after the coup, Li Shimin treated the former subordinates of his brothers with notable leniency. Advisors and officials who had once served Li Jiancheng, such as strategist Wei Zheng, General Shui Wanche, Chancellor Wang Gui, and censor Wei Ting, not only avoided punishment but were instead promoted and entrusted with key responsibilities, becoming pillars of governance in the early Tang regime. The recently discovered epitaph of Li Jiancheng, unearthed by archaeologists, is square-shaped, measuring 52 centimeters in length and width, and 11 centimeters thick. The inscription is written in clerical script, with powerful strokes and exquisite carving. Clearly the work of a master craftsman. What's surprising, however, is that the entire stele contains only 55 characters, many of the inscribing grids are left unfilled. It is the epitaph of the late Prince Xin, Li Jiancheng of the Tang dynasty. He died in the capital on the 4th day of the 6th lunar month of the 9th year of the Wuda era, 626 CE, and was buried on the 13th day of the 1st month of the 2nd year of the Zhengguan era, 628 CE. In Gaoyang Plain of Chang'an County, Yong Prefecture. Experts have pointed out that the brevity of the epitaph reflects a deeper issue, Li Shimin and his inner circle struggled for a long time to determine how to handle the legacy of the former crown prince after the Xuanwu Gate incident. This unresolved dilemma is the core reason why the inscription is so short. According to traditional Confucian values, Li Shimin's actions, turning against his brothers and forcing his father to abdicate, were fundamentally at odds with moral and ethical principles. No matter how he tried to justify himself, this fact was hard to ignore. Therefore, Li Shimin adopted a relatively clever strategy. He deliberately downplayed the presence of Li Jiancheng. He hoped that, with the passage of time, people would gradually forget his elder brother and the highly controversial palace coup. The inner conflict in Li Shimin's heart could even be detected in a small detail on the tombstone. Experts, after careful analysis, discovered clear signs of alteration in the character Yin, hidden, from the posthumous title, Prince Yin of Xi'an, on the stele. Originally, the character inscribed was Ling, spirited, which was later chiseled out and replaced with Yin. The traces of the original character were still faintly visible. This indicates that the original posthumous title intended for Li Jiancheng was actually Prince Ling. Why was Ling changed to Yin? It's important to note that epitaphs were formal and solemn literary works, rarely subject to modification. According to the Tang Huiyao, Volume 80, in the second year of the Zhenguan reign, 628, officials from the Ministry of Rites proposed bestowing a posthumous title on Li Jiancheng. The ministers suggested using the character Ling, but it was not approved. In the end, Yin was chosen. Li Shimin opted for the relatively neutral character Yin, which carries three connotations: first, to conceal the truth; second, political mediocrity; and third, a reserved nature. This change reveals two key considerations by Li Shimin. One was to appease the former followers of Li Jiancheng and the court's opinion, the other was to mitigate the negative impact the Xuanwu Gate incident had on his own reputation. According to the New Book of Tang, after the incident, Li Shimin not only eliminated his political rivals but also ordered that the names of Li Jiancheng and Li Yuanji be removed from the imperial genealogy, effectively stripping them of royal status and reducing them to commoners. However, as the political situation gradually stabilized, the court decided to posthumously bestow upon Li Jiancheng the title of a Prince of Xi, and the posthumous name Yin, and he was reburied with proper rites. By 642 CE, 16 years after the incident, in an effort to shape his image as a benevolent and magnanimous ruler, Li Shimin posthumously reinstated Li Jiancheng as crown prince, restoring his title as the hidden crown prince. Although Li Shimin never publicly mentioned the Xuanwu Gate incident, even when it was alluded to, he only referred to it obliquely as the events of the fourth day of the sixth month. This deliberate avoidance, ironically, revealed his inner unease. According to commentary from relevant historians, Sima Guang, in his Ziji Tongjian, Comprehensive Mirror in Aid of Governance, also believed that the historical records about Li Jiancheng contained omissions and bias. Li Shimin was undoubtedly a brilliant emperor, but had Li Jiancheng ascended the throne successfully, he might not have performed any worse. History simply did not grant Li Jiancheng the chance. All we can do is piece together fragments of history to recreate his figure. As a result, his story is often labeled with the mark of a loser. This is the History and Culture channel. Liking and subscribing are the greatest help and support to us. Thank you everyone and see you in the next time.